right, guys, it's the next morning after we did our stuffing last night. Uh, sausages sausages have sat in the refrigerator. They're nice and cold, dries out that casing just a little bit so they can take a really good smoke. We got our fire going, not a huge fire, just I got a few pieces of wood, a little bit of charcoal underneath. Uh, that way we don't need a massive amount of heat. This pit is really large. It's a 500-gallon propane tank. This little bitty fire right here should stay under 200, about 200 to 225 most of the day. It's going to take us about 4 hours to smoke these sausages. We'll flip them halfway through, and you can see there that these casings they no longer look wet on the outside like they did yesterday after making them. They're just dried up just a little bit. This will help get a really pretty color to them. So we're going to load this sucker up. We'll run it for, like I say, about 4 hours, maintaining a 200 to 225 degree temperature. We're looking for a 150 internal temp of these sausages. That way we know they're fully cooked, and they can go ahead and get an ice bath and then be vacuum sealed and ready to go. So I'm going to load these up and we'll get going. This pit is so big, it doesn't have any slide outs, kind of the way I wanted it, but it's so big I have to almost lay down in it to reach the backside of it. Some people, this would be a huge problem because of the constant smoke and heat going in, but I'm around the fire and smoke all the time. It really doesn't bother me. But if you have a pit that has slide outs or you're not used to this, just be aware sticking your head all the way into a pit can sometimes have make you cough or your eyes start to tear up. All right, guys, we're ready to pull the sausages off. They've been on for about 4 hours now. We flipped them halfway through, about the 2 hour mark. We've kept the fire basically under 250 degrees. Actually, we've been running about 225 to 200 is where we've been keeping it. Like I say, they've been on 4 hours. Oh, they look fantastic. They have a really pretty mahogany color. Get some gloves on, and I'll show you one of these. Take this one, and oh man, you can just see how all that juice and the cheese, they came out fantastic. Definitely really good. And one thing I forgot to mention to y'all yesterday, which is very, very important. Right before you stuff, you want to take some of the sausage meat, make a little patty, throw it on the grill, and taste it before you stuff, because that's your last chance to add any seasonings that you might need to add to it. Um, I don't, all right, because I've used this same recipe for hundreds of times. I've cooked thousands and thousands of pounds of sausage with that recipe. So I know the recipe. It never changes for me. Only thing that changes is whether I'm adding cheese, or jalapeno and cheese, but other than that, this is the exact same recipe I use for regular sausage, jalapeno and cheese sausage, pepper jack, done hatch and cheese. Everything's exactly the same. So my measurements, my weights, everything. So I know this recipe is going to come out the same way every time. But yeah, this is my favorite one, the jalapeno and cheese. I love the flavor of the cheese. It's not too spicy, so young kids can enjoy it. Um, yeah, to me, this is the best one out of all the ones I make. So what we're going to do now is we're pulling all of this sausage off, and they're going to go immediately into an ice bath. I'm already set up inside the building. I've set up the bucket full of ice. Pull these off. We're going to go in there and dump them real quick. All right, guys, we brought the sausages in from off the pit. We have our ice bucket here. It's just ice and water. They're going straight in there, hot, and immediately dropping the temperature of them. The reason we're doing this brings them down extremely fast. And it makes these casings really tight. They basically shrink real fast around your sausage. Um, So then when you go to reheat these sausages, they will heat up, but that casing will snap. It'll give you a way better snap. Like, I don't know if you were able to notice when I took a bite out of that one outside, there's a little chew to it. Well, that chew is because it has yet to be dumped into these ice buckets. You always want to do this to really give your sausage a great snap. We're going to leave them in there about 15 minutes or so to really get that temperature below 40 degrees. And then as soon as we pull them, they'll be ready to vacuum seal and go right into the freezer. So what I'm going to do now is get another pot or bucket full of ice, dump it here on top. Then I'm going to go ahead and go start putting the next batch of sausage on the pit. While I'm doing that, I'm just going to let these sit. When I get done, I'll come back in here, pull these off, and they'll be ready to vacuum seal. And that's it. That's pretty much your whole process for making sausage. Go over just real quick a few things that I wanted to remind y'all of is always taste your sausage before you stuff it. Always use natural casings. Natural casings are way better than collagen. Keep your fire not too hot. You want to stay, depending on your pit. If you know, here at the restaurant, I normally use a barbecue pit that we call Fat Amy. Fat Amy runs really hot. She's insulated. Takes very little wood to get her to 300 degrees or more. She can smoke sausage, but I tend not to use that pit because she's like a Ferrari. I mean, you give her just a little bit of gas and she's gone. So I use that big pit that we pulled these off of because that pit, I can put a big fire in there and it'll get up to 250. You know, it's a struggle to get it up to 300. So that pit's perfect for using for sausage making because I don't want to get over 225 degrees through the whole process. It takes about 4 hours. If you have a meat probe, you want to pull your sausage once it hits 150 degrees. You don't want to go any higher than that. It's fully cooked by then. If you're cold smoke, which cold smoking, you could stay at 100 degrees and go for hours and hours. Well, that sausage will never get to 150 degrees. So what you're going to want to do is always remember to fully cook that sausage before consuming it. Put it in the oven, put it on the pit, anything like that. These are all have reached 150 degrees internal temp. They could be, I could pull one out now and eat it, or vacuum seal it and throw it in the fridge and just pull it out later and take a bite, and it's not going to hurt you. But if you cold smoke, which that is an option, if you cold smoke, make sure you fully cook it before you consume it. So that's pretty much most of the highlights for making sausage. Give us a like on our page. Like and subscribe. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to me. I'll be glad to answer anything I possibly can. I've showed you exactly how I make sausage for the restaurant. I have no secrets when it comes to making barbecue sausage or anything otherwise. So if you ever have questions, feel free to reach out to us here at Damons Real Texas Barbecue. Thank y'all for watching. Like and subscribe. God bless you. And remember, smoked meat, not meth.